Hey everyone, Nick Lang with Sixpence Productions here. Hopefully you guys are having a great Christmas season. And just want to bring you my thoughts this week, because it's Christmas, on a new Christmas movie, Red One. Red One, for those of you that don't know, is a sort of Christmas action movie. Has The Rock and Chris Evans, and man, I'm blanking on his name. What's his name? J. Jonah Jameson from the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies is Santa Claus, which is actually great casting. And we watched it a few days ago, before Christmas, and I thought, this is fine, but as usually happens with my brain with something that's not totally satisfying, I started thinking about what I would do differently. Here's my top 3 quick things that I think could have elevated that movie from meh Amazon Prime stuff to a pretty decent, fun family Christmas adventure. Change number 1, you got a better cast. I love The Rock. Dwayne Johnson is a really charismatic, fun guy and has done some really interesting movies, especially early in his career. But The Rock as the sort of disgruntled, hard-ass bodyguard for Santa, it just didn't work. He doesn't have it. My wife actually suggested, since she's very good at this kind of stuff, that it should have been somebody like Jason Statham. So the lead roles, Jason Statham, and then Chris Evans was okay, but I don't think he's the right Chris. Either a Chris Pratt or Chris Pine would have been better for the sort of comedic, smarmy, self-interested guy who's got to learn his lesson and save Christmas. Fix 2. The main character, Callum, who is the bodyguard of Santa, the sort of elf or eternal spirit or whatever he is, his power of shrinking is stupid. It was like they were afraid to go, so he shrank all the way down because they were like, well, that's going to be like Ant-Man. And so they made him shrink down to the size of a small child. It was dumb. It's also not a very elf-like power. And I think one of the cool things about the movie was the villain and then seeing Krampus leaning into some of those other dark Christmas myths. So we should have given him a more elf-like power. Now, what would that be? Invisibility, maybe? Yeah, that's fine. What would have been really cool is if he could somehow shape people's perceptions, because elves are often credited with the sort of ability to change people's perceptions of reality. That could have made for some really interesting fight scenes, some sort of illusion magic or something like that. But yeah, the shrinking, it should have been something else. It was really kind of just off-putting and goofy to see The Rock shrink down to like 2 feet tall or whatever. Didn't care for it. And fix number 3, and this would have been the biggest one, is the climax of the movie was pretty lackluster. And what I mean is, you had the makings of this big spectacle fight. They're fighting this, spoiler alert, ice witch who's taken on the true form as this massive ogre. I was on board. That was cool. But she ends up sort of accidentally being defeated, or I guess defeated by Santa Claus and the reindeer, by falling into these snow globes that trap her, which is her whole plan. That should have been caused by actions taken by Jack O'Malley, who's played in the movie by Chris Evans. He should have been the one. It's his character arc, really. Callum has a character arc of accepting Christmas again, but Jack O'Malley should have been the heart of this movie and should have been the one to, now he believes in Santa, now he realizes what they're doing is right, now he realizes how bad this all stuff is, he's repented and made amends and tried to be a better father, and now he should have been the one, and he's the brains, that's why they bring him in, right? He's smart, he tracks people. He should have been the one to trick the witch or get her to fall into the snow globes or defeat her in whatever way. I think if you had made those 3 changes, the movie would have been significantly improved. God bless you all. Have a Merry Christmas. We'll see you next week.